We had a scheduling issue, and I had just gotten off the treadmill. My partner was like hopping on the treadmill, and Adam called me to be like, "Oh, hey, where are you? What's going on?" And I answered the phone and I said, "Perfect timing." And you were probably really perplexed. And so, Scott, your friend, you know our friends, the Loose Lips boys, David and Nate.
Oh, sure, of course, great guys.
Yeah, we did their podcast, and my partner was traveling a lot in the last few days and actually tuned into the podcast, and she took issue with we've been dating for 15 years. We were coming up on our 15th anniversary, and I think I kind of cutesily or facetiously said, "Well, I'm in a pretty serious relationship," and
and she was like, "What do you mean by that?"
Yeah, she's like, what exactly is pretty serious relationship? That's like when you say somebody is like, "Oh, they're pretty smart,"
Yeah. You know what the answer to that is you take her to any restaurant where they do the happy anniversary song.
Yeah, immediately water under the bridge.
Well, yeah. So Adam was calling right. I was very seriously apologizing because I'm in an extremely serious relationship. I want to make that very clear. If you heard our appearance on the Loose Lips podcast, I'm in an extremely serious relationship. Nothing pretty serious about it.
This is like a New York Times correction that's happening.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
So,
I can hear there's tears streaming down your face. Your mascara is running. This is very serious.
But yeah, Adam called me literally as I was in the middle of my apology, and then I answered the phone very loudly and hopefully cutesily and said, "Perfect timing, Adam." So,
Yep.
Even though the timing was all off for today.
Gingerbread Man down, clean up on aisle podcast.
Welcome back to Clean Up on Aisle Podcast, the dirty truth about grocery stores. I'm Jef Harmatz with my co-host Adam Fligsten. Hello, Adam.
Hello, Jeff. How are you?
I'm good, and we are joined today by our very good friend, Scott Yacyshyn. Hello, Scott.
Hi, happy to be here.
Thank you for joining us. So again, sorry for the timing confusion, but you're one of the closest friends we've had on the show, I'd say, and hopefully you won't hold this against us for too long. So
no, I couldn't possibly. I just feel honored to be on.
And we have a soft out due to a bedtime situation. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah, that's right. I get really cranky if I'm awake after 8. No, it's my son, my kid. I'm going on a trip to a wedding tomorrow, so I promised I'd put him in bed, tuck him in, read him a bedtime story.
Where are you heading for the wedding?
We are going up to wine country, sideways style.
All right.
Yeah.
Which one are you? Are you Paul Giamatti or are you Ned from Ned and Stacy?
Oh, that's a good question. I think I'm definitely Paul Giamatti and Daniela is Ned.
Okay.
Yeah, she's got the masculinity and the intensity and the devil may care attitude, and I just have IBS.
Is IBS really a part of Sideways? I've actually never seen it.
No, I think it's like it's like the theme. It's thematically about IBS because he's just such a tightly wound mess the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Isn't IBS? Doesn't that make you like a bit of a loose mess?
Yeah. It's kind of like a loose meat, like we were just discussing.
Our friends whose podcast I failed my darling partner. So
yeah.
So I was in town a couple weekends ago, and you were at a bachelor party. So I didn't see you. Is this the same wedding bachelor party combination that you're involved with this next weekend?
Yes, it's one and the same. It's probably the closest bachelor party I've been to for a wedding, the gap. But it's certainly long enough that you could get over whatever hangover you might have gotten at this bachelor party.
Where was the bachelor party?
It was at a lovely house in Malibu. The person who organized it, Adam Stern, if he's listening, he knocked it out of the park. Great views, a nice boiling hot pool. There was nothing wrong with the heating equipment, and it was like 105 degrees in the pool. But We got some ping pong tables in there. We were playing GoldenEye. It was the most wholesome bachelor party I think I've ever been to.
I was talking about this with Adam recently, I think last weekend, and speaking of wholesome bachelor parties, when I worked at a delivery company for a little while, there was like a guy that I thought was like, oh, this guy's like kind of like a cool guy, and he's like, I'm having my bachelor party this weekend, and I was like, maybe I can kind of finagle my like way into this bachelor party if people are like out partying or whatever. And I was like, oh, so what are you doing for your bachelor party? And he said, well, I don't drink and I've got unusual interests, so I've invited 7 of my closest friends to go watch Kevin Smith record a podcast. And it seems a little wholesome to me.
Ah, yes, at the Smod Castle.
Yeah, the Smod Castle. So
yeah, that feels great to me. Was this pre or post Tusk?
Oh, it would have been around the time of Tusk. Adam, have you been to any wholesome bachelor parties?
The only wholesome bachelor party that I went to was probably my first bachelor party, and it was to a soon-to-be doomed marriage. And the guy who was throwing it was the older brother, and he kept being like, my bachelor party was so crazy. And then he was like, let's go to Hard Rock Cafe. And then we just kind of stood around. We couldn't drink. Maybe we were too young. I don't know. It was wholesome. Maybe it was just boring. Not wholesome. But yeah.
Isn't there like an old English proverb about how wholesome and boring are the same thing?
Oh,
can you bleep out this name? And I'm gonna say, we can leave it all in that I'm asking you to bleep out this guy's name because I don't want to specifically put this person on blast. But were either of you a bachelor party?
Yes. Okay. Yes, I was pretty integral in that bachelor party.
Yes. And I thought you were
strip club?
It was not. It was pretty wholesome.
Okay.
No, it was Airbnb, video games, and snacks. That's pretty much it. I think if I could go back, I think I had a hand in organizing it. If I could go back in time, maybe we'd do everything the same, but just a different location because it was, I think, 5 minutes away from his house.
Yeah, it was. We were all very, very close to that house. And it was a video game party, and maybe we need to chop this out. But I just, the thing that I remember most about that bachelor party is being dismissed from a conversation because I was not a talented enough artist. A gentleman at the party was talking with me and another guy, and then he saw how this guy drew, and I think you're a very talented artist, Scott. And I was like, was this Scott that I was dismissed for? It wasn't you. It was a different guy at the party.
Oh.
But we were having a conversation about art and stuff on a balcony, probably smoking a cigarette or a cigar or whatever. And this dude said, excuse me, I'm really into this guy's art, and I just want to talk to this guy right now.
Oh, my God. Rebuff.
Yeah. So that was kind of my big takeaway from that night.
That is, I am so sorry to hear that.
It wasn't your fault, Scott.
Okay, it wasn't secretly me you're not talking about?
No, it really wasn't you, but it was I think of you as a very, very talented artist, and I was like, was that Scott that I was being dismissed for? But I don't think he would have stood for that. I think he would have told that goon to shut the fuck up.
Hey, pal. Hey, who do you think you're talking to? This is Jef Harmatz. I'm going to throw you off this balcony. Oh, no. You threw me off the balcony.
It's just a rude thing. So,
well, he's dead to me.
Scott, you're traveling again this weekend, and we were trying to get you on the podcast a couple weeks ago. And were you in Scotland?
Close. Okay. I was in Iceland.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
For how long?
10 days.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was. I was all the leading up to the trip. I was terrified that I had made a horrible decision because I have 2 kids. One's 7, one's 9 months old, and it's a road trip around the whole island. And I was just like, did I bite way more than I can chew off of Iceland? And the answer was no. Iceland's great. And the trip was casual and easygoing. And I can't say anything more highly about it.
I'm actually going to Iceland in about 3 weeks from now.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going to Germany, but I'm flying Iceland Air. So they sweeten the deal if you stay there. So yeah, probably just Reykjavik, but yeah.
Reykjavik's great. since we're on a grocery store podcast, the grocery stores in Iceland are really nice. I thought maybe it'd be kind of hard to find certain items because it's an island and everything has to be imported in, but they got a great selection.
IBS medication.
Yep. They got all my favorites. They got my Prilosec. But yeah, the one thing about Iceland is that everything is incredibly expensive.
Because it's an island.
But they have one grocery store called Bonus, and it's got a little angry piggy bank as a mascot. And Bonus has pretty good prices.
Is everything expensive there because it's an island, or like? I don't think I want to say it this way, but I date an islander as well. That is my partner from Australia, also an island, and stuff there is quite expensive unless it's like locally grown or like because they got to ship everything in. Essentially, I think it hits cars more than like grocery items because like they're growing their own, tomatoes, lamb, beer, etc. But I'd like how much are they bringing into Iceland? I don't know if that's part of the tourism thing where you get a really close look at the GDP.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, it's hard. It was hard to get a beat on because I assumed they shipped in everything because, Iceland doesn't have very many trees. Like the things you're able to grow in that climate are kind of, I thought, sparse. But every time we would talk to somebody, they'd be like, oh, yeah, we have a farm and we raise chickens and grow tomatoes and have apples and they have greenhouses everywhere. So I think we ate a lot of like locally grown things. You literally can't drive more than 4 minutes without seeing like sheep. So I know the lamb should be inexpensive, but maybe it's just because they're like, they love money. I don't know. Other than that, everything was great.
I was there almost 10 years ago, and I remember a local, like almost like the equivalent of Iceland's Budweiser beer, not a fancy beer, at not a fancy restaurant, was $17. And
oh my gosh,
that was like kind of shocking to me at that time, and that was almost 10 years ago.
Yeah, the one that made my eyes water was we stopped at a gas station, and I got 2 like full-size bags of Cool Ranch Doritos and 1 energy drink, and I think that was $35 American. Yeah.
What is their energy drink that's popular in Iceland? I assume they're not a rock star community.
No, they seem to be Celsius aficionados. You could get every flavor of Celsius.
I still haven't tried the Celsius. The logo looks too menacing to me. It looks like medicine. Medicinal medicine.
Jef is very loyal to Fahrenheit.
I don't think I've had a Fahrenheit past these lips, but a Celsius, I do enjoy a Celsius peach vibe. I think they recently tested a Celsius and found that there was Adderall in it.
Well, now you're selling me on the thing. So.
I mean, when I drink a Celsius, I feel like I could write at least 3 or 4 papers.
Do y'all remember the energy drink? And I was scared to drink it. I only ever drank one, but it was called cocaine.
With a K?
No, it was spelled exactly like the drug.
I never tried that.
I never had a cocaine.
I believe they still sell it too, but it came out right when I moved to New York in 2006, and I bought one from a sketchy bodega. And I remember walking around on the Lower East Side being like, I've heard about this little can of cocaine. Very excited to drink it. And it's spicy. It's supposed to give you the drip in the throat.
What everybody wants. That's the part people like about cocaine.
Hello, sharks. Today, for you, I've got quite the product.
Adam, what's your energy drink of choice?
I don't really do energy drink. I do coffee or iced coffee. I mean, I guess Red Bull. I've drank a fair number of Red Bulls in my day, but I never had a Celsius.
I recently, post-COVID quarantine, I kind of got into working out. And so now I do pre-workout, which is a powder that has some ungodly amount of caffeine and B vitamins and other things. And you drink it right before you work out, and it gives you a little boost. And that stuff is pretty wild because it makes your skin real itchy.
Whoa!
Oh, that's the B. That's B6. It's called flushing. it's a reaction from niacin. So that's what's happening. It's normal. It's not unsafe, but your face can actually get quite red, and that's a niacin flushing reaction that you're having.
Okay, so it's not secret cocaine.
No. Yeah.
Are you telling me that the thing that's called be sick makes you feel ill? So let me ask you, when you're traveling, because we're all traveling soon. You just got back from traveling, Scott. Adam's going away. I'm heading to Europe in a couple months.
Oh.
How often are y'all hitting the grocery store when you're on a trip?
It really depends if it's just me and my partner solo, or if the kids are coming. Because my 7-year-old, he's got a lot of food allergies, which makes eating at a restaurant difficult sometimes. So if we bring the kids, I'm going to a grocery store, at least once during a vacation for like a stock up, and possibly 2 or 3 times, I would say.
I do not like Airbnb. I think they're a predatory business model. I love going to hotels. Hotels are great. With that said, the one thing I like about an Airbnb is a kitchen, and a refrigerator. So yeah, if I am traveling and I happen to have a kitchen, then I'm 100% going to a grocery store and cooking at least a few nights for dinner.
Yeah.
I'm the opposite. If I'm traveling, and again, I'm a child-free man, and my partner and I love to eat out, and I know y'all travel a little bit more for business than I do. I want to eat out every single meal. I don't want to be cooking anything if I'm on vacation, and I love to cook, but I will always go to every grocery store I walk past also, because I want to see what the whole deal is. And I'm going to Paris again. I was in Paris a couple of years ago, and I'm going back to Paris for a couple weeks. And I had a really big freak out the last time I was in Paris. We didn't stay anywhere with a kitchen. No cooking for us. But I'm obsessed with blood sausage, boudin noir in particular. And I've never seen it in the States. I had it a few times in Texas. I've seen it in New Orleans. Never seen it here in California. And I was like, I got to check out this French grocery store just because I'm really into grocery stores. And they had boudin noir, a few different varieties of it. And I had a freak out. I was like, I said to my partner, I'm like, we can't cook this. We don't have a kitchen. Is there a way I can smuggle this home? I was really plotting about sausage smuggling. And I thought that was am I going to get arrested if I bring sausage back to the U.S.? Will it keep? Really putting a lot of time into the logistics of it. And it was just so foreign to me to be cooking on vacation that the thought it was impossible. It was easier for me to think about how to smuggle it home than it was to cook it in Paris, essentially.
My partner, Daniela, I can say her name, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah. Daniela, she's Spanish on her mom's side, and she has lots of stories of all her relatives smuggling in, legs of ham and serrano and chorizo and where you fit it in. It's a standard practice for Spaniards, not to besmirch the Spaniards.
How does one smuggle a leg of ham back?
I think you do you pull your foot back and tie it to your buttocks, and then you use it like a peg leg.
Do you have a little crutch, and do you wear a pirate hat as well?
Yeah, you gotta commit to the bit if you're gonna do it.
Otherwise, they'll catch onto you right away.
Yeah, or if they're you weren't funny enough. If you're funny enough, then they'll let you go by.
Have you been the beneficiary of these smuggled hams?
I have not had the pleasure of smuggled hams. I was able to bring back fermented shark from Iceland.
Is that allowed, or are you confessing to a crime?
No, it is allowed. I could go deep into fermented shark because we went to the fermented shark museum. But I'll give you the quick and dirty breakdown of it. They're Greenland sharks. I don't know how they got to Iceland, but they're
Wham.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. That's what sharks do. They live for hundreds of years. So the lady at the museum was like, the shark you're about to eat could be 500 years old. We're not sure. They don't pee. They just store all of their uric acid in their meat as antifreeze. So they don't freeze in the frozen ocean. So what they do is they cut them up and they hang them out to dry in the open air for months. And then the uric acid converts to ammonia, which is edible. Uric acid is not. You'll die if you eat fresh Greenland shark. And then once it's ammonia, you can eat it with the aquavit of your choice or rye bread, and people love it.
By people, what about you?
I enjoyed it quite a bit. It is a very surprising flavor. The best way I can think to describe it.
Surprising.
Yeah. It's like the experience is like wasabi, where something gets you in the nose, but the taste is like bleach.
You're not really selling me on it.
It woke me up.
So did you bring this back to continue? Oh, sorry. I don't know if you can hear my dog in the background. That's my beautiful dog, Sunday. Ask me about my cute dog. Is the shark, did you bring that for you or to like dazzle guests? Or you're like, I loved it so much, I've got to smuggle it back. I've got to keep tasting this.
I brought it back for the bachelor party because I thought it would be, like a communal event where all these guys who don't know each other could experience something together. And I gave them that whole spiel, and we ate the shark, and then I became like the inside joke for the whole weekend. They'd be like, "Oh, you guys want to go for a hike this morning?" And be like, "Well, first we should probably ask Scott how the shark is produced."
So not a hit, kind of a flop.
I think it did what it was supposed to do. It unified all the people against the idea of the shark and my description of the shark.
So should we dig into grocery stores? Are we ready to talk some shopping?
Yeah, that's what we're here for.
All right, Scott, we're dying to know. You grew up in the Chicago area.
I did.
What are your memories of grocery shopping with your family, with your parents in that area? Where were you shopping? What was that like?
Well, I'm a long-time listener, first-time caller in. So I did listen to your episode with Vera, and she talked about the Jewel Osco. And Jewel Osco was really big in my neighborhood, Deerfield, and then the surrounding North Shore suburbs of Chicago. But for my family, it was Sunset, the Sunset Supermarket in Highland Park. And I have fond memories of going there with my mom and sitting in the shopping cart and getting pushed around and getting to stop at the bakery aisle and pick out a cookie and things like that.
What kind of cookies? Specific cookies or just whatever, chocolate chip?
This is I think I'm conflating two separate stores in my head, but I'll just go with the false memory. It was your classic black and white deli cookie and a smiley face cookie, which was the same basic thing, but it was yellow frosting with a chocolate smiley face on it.
All right. Are you still tracking down that cookie? Is that like Proust's Madeleine?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. It's if I could just taste that flavor on my lips one more time, then I could finally die. I'm an immortal and I've been living for 500 years, and that will break my curse.
You will be a corpse with yellow happy face frosting on your lips.
Yeah. No, I do. I vividly remember that flavor. And I feel like even going to New York, where the black and white cookie is so ubiquitous, it wasn't the same. The black and white cookie I ate in Illinois was probably sacrilegious, but to me it was sacrilegious.
Scott, would you say that the Sunset Foods that you went to was in downtown Highland Park, Illinois?
Yeah. Is it still there?
It is the original Sunset Foods, opened in 1937.
Oh my God. That explains why everything was in black and white.
Speaking of black and white, I never kind of got down with the black and white cookie. I don't have any childhood memories of it. And when I did live in New York, when we all lived in New York together at the same time, I never got the black and white cookie. Can y'all explain this cookie to me?
I think it's really just you had to have grown up with it to enjoy it kind of thing. Cause it is, none of the sums of its parts are anything to write home about. It's a stale sugar cookie, cakey, kind of whoopie pie-ish, bottom, but it's vanilla, and then it's, royal icing and chocolate royal icing.
Okay.
But I think maybe it's just the experience and the love you feel because you were with, your booby or your mama.
You went to college in Los Angeles, and what was like the culture shock from coming from Chicago grocery stores to Los Angeles grocery stores?
Oh, that's a good question. That's a tough one because going to college was when I also started shopping for myself for the first time. So that in and of itself was a bit of a culture shock. But Ralph's, that was the Westwood grocery store, was a pretty sizable Ralph's. And I just remember it. I think just the selection. There was more stuff, and I loved it. I loved the Ralph's. I think the number one thing for me that I appreciated about Los Angeles grocery stores when I first got here was that you could get like a decent restaurant style tortilla chip, like a grocery store made, like cut up tortilla fried in a fryer, not like pressed cornmeal chip.
As a Southern California born guy, I really take tortilla chips for granted. And my sister lives in London right now. And the main thing that she's asking for people to send her is tortilla chips. She's like, I miss tortilla chips the most. That's the thing you cannot get in London. Please mail me Southern California tortilla chips. And that's really expensive to do that.
Yeah, I don't think no other hemisphere in the world does the tortilla chip right. Including South America. I'm looking at you, Brazil.
You should ship her tortillas. Have you ever made tortilla chips? They're pretty easy to make.
She's probably getting to that point, I think,
Yeah.
where she's probably with her boys making tortilla chips.
Yeah, just ship her some corn tortillas.
She could probably make corn tortillas herself, unless they don't have corn in London. I've never been. I don't know, actually.
Oh, what do you call this then? What are these little yellow niblets? This isn't peas.
Can you make a corn tortilla out of peas? Yeah,
Yeah, a pea tortilla.
So I hope it's okay to say where you went to school. You went to UCLA, right, Scott?
I did.
We can bleep that out if we need to. We're just bleep out everything in this episode.
Yeah, it's just one long beep. The beep episode. Yes, I went to UCLA. I have no shame.
I've spent time at UCLA. I didn't go to UCLA. I visited you at UCLA. I went there for museums and stuff. And like Westwood, it's this neighborhood that's in the middle of, well, not the middle, but it's in Los Angeles, and it's very much like a little college town. Like it's its own separate entity. Like it's very walkable. It's very UCLA focused. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, when I went to UCLA, by the time I was done, I was ready to leave Los Angeles because I was like, this place isn't that fun. There's not much to do. Not really. I was conflating Westwood with the rest of Los Angeles proper. And only until I came back and started living on the east side did I realize like, oh, there's such a interesting amount of stuff to do in Los Angeles. But yeah, Westwood is very much servicing the college.
But even then, it kind of fails to service anybody. Like every restaurant that opens there, every other restaurant that opens there closes within 6 months. It's like a cultural dead zone in Los Angeles. It's really bizarre almost.
Yeah, no, I hard agree. It is weird how, like the most popular restaurant when I went there was like Acapulco's, which, no knock on Acapulco's. It was fantastic, but
great corn tortillas.
Yeah. Oh man, you could get tortillas. You could get no peas though.
But I guess where I'm kind of going with this is, if there's one big grocery store that everybody's shopping at UCLA, was that like a place where it was like okay to be like single and mingle and like meet co-eds and stuff like that? Like, did you ever, both reaching for the same zucchini and your hands brush against each other and you're like, oh, you're in my psychology class. Oh my gosh.
it was definitely a kind of a pickup vibe at the Ralphs that I could observe from afar, being a total loser. But no, I definitely had some more, I'm gonna say, like, attractive friends who would find somebody to give a number to at Ralph's or get a number from. Yeah, there was definitely a vibe of collegey ribaldness at the Ralph's.
You have to wait for someone to forget their club card, and you just swoop in and scan it for them.
Exactly. I should have done that.
And so I know you did a stint in New York, which we've talked a lot about New York grocery stores on this podcast, but I find them to be quite dire, at least having grown up in Southern California. But like, was that a different culture shock when you headed off to New York?
100%. I mean, talking about the theme of this episode, flow, New York's grocery stores have zero flow. I think, a lot, in large part to their size, but also because I just feel like everybody seems upset to be at a New York grocery store. If you're, I think,
hey, I'm shopping here.
Yeah. Hey, Mac, where's the milk? I think I did most of my shop. If I wasn't getting, I was getting like produce and meat from the farmer's market in Union Square, fantastic farmer's market. And then I was doing all my other shopping at my bodega, when I was in New York. When I lived down in the financial district, which was a huge mistake, I went to this grocery store. I can't even remember what it was called. It had started with a Z, but it wasn't Zebulon. It was Zanzibar or something like that. Zabar's. Was it Zabar's? No, Zabar's is like on the upper side, right?
Yeah. I didn't know, maybe they had one in the financial district.
It was like a upscale grocery store that seemed to like only sell like marinated feta. Like you couldn't get like any actual like products. It was all fancy, like upscale, like the bath salts were right next to the caviar and that's it.
Both great for the bath, I take my bath with caviar, my little blini on the side of the tub.
Oh yeah.
You like to pretend like they're returning back to the sea.
Yes. Yeah, sprinkle a couple in for the water.
So you're back in Los Angeles now, right?
Yes, I have been back in Los Angeles for 15 years. And I love it. I don't have any plans to move.
How often are you shopping, and where are you shopping, and how does your shopping work in LA? Now that you're settled, you're grown, you're a dad, you're in a pretty serious relationship.
It's pretty serious. I don't know. I mean, we have 2 kids. We're not married. But I go to the grocery store every single day, and sometimes twice a day.
I'm the same style of guy. So did you learn that in New York?
No, I didn't do that in New York. New York was like, I was probably going to the bodega every day. Yeah, even if it was just to see like what novelty candies were there, because I'm a big novelty candy guy.
Did you pick that up in Westwood with that candy store?
Which one was that? Was that Oz? Oz!
Yeah, that's a yeah.
Spelled AAHS exclamation point. Oz!
But no, you're going at least once a day typically. Like, what was that? How does that work? Walk us through the thought process. Walk us through the list making.
So my big thing is I have a pet peeve, which is probably not a efficient pet peeve, but I have it nonetheless, which is that I don't like doing a big shop and having my meals planned out for the week, because I don't know if I'm going to want arroz con pollo on Thursday, by the time it rolls around. And if I'm really feeling like a fish dish, then I'm kind of out of luck. So I like going to the grocery store every day because I like thinking about what I'm going to have for dinner. It's kind of the way I relax when I'm taking a $5 from work. And I think, what am I going to do for dinner? I go to the New York Times cooking app. I scroll through and I find something that looks interesting, and then I know what I'm going to do at the grocery store. I'm gonna seek out these ingredients, and it's a ritual for me.
Which one are you going to?
Oh yes, okay, yeah. I am a Gelson's man. I understand that comes with privilege, but I am a Gelson's man. It's my favorite place in the whole wide world.
This is the infamous Gelson's with a bar in it, full bar?
Yes, this is the infamous Silver Lake Gelson's across the street from the infamous Silver Lake Trader Joe's.
Both equally infamous grocery stores,
yes.
right next to each other.
Yeah, this actually comes up quite often in our household because Daniela is a big Trader Joe's advocate. And whenever the conversation of money comes up in the house and I'm like, oh, we need to, cut back on some expenses. She's like, well, you could go to Trader Joe's instead of Gelson's. And I go, no, no. But yes, it is the Gelson's with the bar. I actually haven't frequented the bar as much as I thought I might once they installed it. But
we have a mutual friend who is constantly at that bar.
Yes. I will see him there probably most days of the week that I go shopping.
Really? Okay.
You could cut that out if you want to, but
no, that's fine. I think he knows it. So,
yeah. But yeah, that's nice because it's like I see my friend every day and we wave. And sometimes, if I'm running, we see each other so often. If I'm running late and I need to really zoom around the Gelson's, we'll just give each other like a respectful nod. And if I feel like having a chat, I'll push my cart over there and I'll say, hey, how's it going? How about them Bears?
But you don't sit and have a cold beer or a hard kombucha at the Gelson's bar too frequently.
Sporadically. So it has to be like, that's my destination.
Okay.
Sometimes said friend or other friend will say, hey, how about we meet at Gelson's, for a happy hour beer. And I'm like, that sounds great. It's 2 blocks away from my house. I don't even have to drive.
And then you can walk back with the groceries.
Exactly. Yeah. And then I grab my groceries and I walk back home and I'm drenched in sweat and bloated.
So for our listeners that don't know, like Gelson's is like, it's kind of a higher end grocery store. There's a dozen of them. It's a small Southern California chain. They're all over Los Angeles. They actually have one in the desert, not in the high desert where I live, but in like the low desert, like Palm Desert. In Palm Springs, there's a Gelson's there, which I frequented. They do have a bar there. It is a little sadder of a bar if you're at the Palm Desert Gelson's bar at 3 p.m. having a beer. They do have this thing where like you can have a drink and they'll shop for you. Have you ever done that?
I have never done that because I enjoy my shopping, but I know plenty of people who have. And for somebody who doesn't like shopping, it sounds like a great option. I mean, I think it's $5 to have somebody shop for you, which, if you're counting your money, that is not nothing. But for Gelson's, that's not bad. I think the stigma of Gelson's is that it is the more expensive grocery store to shop at.
So you do it in an app? You like make your list in an app and you just click, or how do they know what you want?
Nowadays, I mean, I don't know how they do it nowadays, but when they first started doing that, they literally just had a page with like a spreadsheet on it, and you would write down what you wanted, and then you'd give it to the bar back, and the bar back would go get your groceries for you.
I don't know if y'all have done, because I love to shop like you, Scott. I shop every day. I was still shopping well into the pandemic. And then like, as pandemic restrictions were easing up, I guess, I started getting like late pandemic panics. Like I didn't start having somebody do any shopping for me probably until like, I don't know, 2022.
Oh, wow.
Like it was really late. Like people were still masking up, but like as the masks were coming off, I really like had big anxiety about it. And that's when I started doing the shopping. So like, that's been my only experience with having somebody shop for me, because I don't like to do that. I love to sit at a bar and have a drink, but then I also like to shop as well. And It was really not a fun process. I'm sure we'll get into it in future episodes, but like I never enjoyed the process of sitting at my computer and like clicking boxes for like, corn tortillas. It was not my favorite.
I love it. Oh,
Really?
I so enjoy it. Yeah, I can't get enough of it. Yes, I mean, I feel bad, so I sort of don't do it as much. But during the pandemic, I did it all the time, and I love scrolling and finding the thing. And then they say like, last time you bought this, do you want this? It's like, yeah, I do want that. Thank you.
I never want the same thing twice.
I do.
Yeah, this is why I enjoy this podcast so much, because of the back and forth, the Siskel and Ebert of it all. Where Jef will be so effusive about something and Adam will be like, guess what? I hate it. But no. Yeah, the Instacart, I feel the same way as Jef, where there was nothing that was more depressing to me than it would take me 45 minutes to get my grocery list like settled on Instacart. And then the person starts shopping, and very first item every time was, it's not here. Would you rather have this? And it's like, no, I wouldn't rather have that. If I was there, I would know which thing I would rather have.
So before we leave Gelson's, Scott, do you ever get this came up in an episode about salad bars that we did. Do you ever get pre-made food, like salad bar type stuff at the Gelson's? Because I have some stuff to say about it.
Yeah, no, I don't. Their salad bar, I would say, is maybe one of their low points for me personally. But I'm not much of a salad bar guy.
I was shocked at the quality of the salad bar. When I was there, and then they also had I don't think I mentioned this in the episode. They had a poke bar, with poke or whatever, and it was disgusting. It was just like these piles of uncooked meat that were like slowly getting warmer over time. Yeah. It was not. Didn't look good at all.
Yeah, 2 jeers for Gelson's are definitely the salad bar, the poke bar, and I'll throw in a third jeer, which is the fish display. They don't have the freshest fish, unfortunately. The one thing I will get is the rotisserie chicken, episode 1, I want to say.
Mm-hmm. We have talked about those Gelson rotis.
Yeah, which I was surprised that you spoke so glowingly of the Gelson's rotis, because I find it to be underseasoned. But
it has been 8 years since I've had one, admittedly. But, tastes have changed. Rotis has changed. But, I've grown up a lot. Maybe I'd find it to be underseasoned as well these days. They've been making it the exact same way for the last 8 years.
I've also destroyed my taste buds on sodium, so maybe it's me. But it does work. Their rotisserie does work in a pinch if you're going to make like a chile verde or a chicken enchiladas or something. Using tortillas, everyone's favorite.
Yeah, corn tortillas.
Yeah.
Real quick, you mentioned this right when we were asking about your shopping. If you're going to the grocery store twice, are you hitting 2 different grocery stores, or are you going to the same grocery store twice in a day?
Great question. I'll use today as an example. I went to Gelson's twice. Once because I did my shopping. Second, because Daniela's mother is in town. She's looking after the kids while we're at the wedding, and I asked if she needed anything. And so I went for her. And then third, I went to Trader Joe's because there was a couple of items that were only Trader Joe's exclusives.
King style shit, going to 3 grocery stores in a single day. Love it.
I know. What do I do with my time? I go to grocery stores. I am an oil baron. I don't know. Did you start with that?
Well, I usually hit up 2. I mean, I've certainly hit up 3 in a day, but that's rare. But like, if I go to 2, I'm definitely going to 2 different ones. Unless I like really fucked up and my partner is like, I specifically asked you for this thing and you forgot it. And I'm like, I'm going back. I'll go to 1 grocery store and then they don't have what I need, or I know that I need to hit 2 grocery stores for all the shit. That's when I'm going to 2 grocery stores.
Yeah. So I would say most often my 2-trip day is because I fucked up and I forgot something, and it's a big headache and I'm grumbling the whole way. Sometimes I go twice in a day because I don't know if you know this about children, but they wake up at the crack of dawn, And before they go to school or anything like that, I need to think of things to do with them. So sometimes I'll just be like, let's walk to the grocery store. And we'll walk to the grocery store and we'll just get, cereal or breakfast items. But I haven't figured out what I want for dinner yet because I haven't craved anything yet. So then I wait to go back at the end of the day to get my cravables.
You need to fill your belly with the Count Chocula before you know what the next meal has in store for you.
Exactly, yeah. I need to feed the beast.
Unless we have more Gelson stock, let's jump into the topic.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I hope I'm not stretching this too far. Let's get
not at all. But I guess I want to start with, when we pitched this topic to you, Scott, we kind of described it as grocery store flow / feng shui.
Mm-hmm.
And Adam and I usually do a ton of research for this show. And I was kind of I really struggled with how to put this particular concept that we're talking about here. Like, how would either of you, Adam, how did you land with this research? And what do we think this concept is even called? How do we define it?
Yeah. I would just say layout, or I would say maybe flow of customers or something like that. I did a bunch of research, a little bit about feng shui. There's almost nothing written about grocery stores and feng shui together. I tried. I really did try. There's a little bit about retail, generalized retail and stuff like that.
Can you define feng shui for me? My partner was reminding me that you're extremely into it, and what is the concept in nutshell feng shui for me?
This was not a prop for this episode.
He's got a big feng shui book.
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, I'm going to give a bad definition, but basically it is a very, very old, writing, belief system, spiritual practice about finding harmony in the spaces that you are in. And it, on the sort of layman's level, the practical level, it's about arranging your furniture, arranging your house, arranging your doorways, and making things so that they feel smooth to interact with and to enter and all that kind of stuff. That's sort of the baseline. But then there's a whole deeper, the second level is how does the chi flow throughout that room? So not just a human, but how does the actual energy flow throughout the room? And then the third level actually gets into some pretty confusing, numerology type stuff, about angles, about, north, south, east, west, about if there's a mountain or a stream or something like that nearby. So, that's when I start to get a little overwhelmed by some of the practices. But yeah, I mean, practically, I believe it is a good way of looking at a space and thinking about how can I make this feel inviting and habitable, both for myself, but also for guests, so that when they come, they feel welcome.
I've heard of chi flowing, but in the supermarket, you got to be figuring about where the cheese is flowing. Sorry, I had to say it.
I was trying to come up with a cheese joke, and I was like, God damn it, I can't get it. The only thing I really know about feng shui is that you shouldn't have your bedroom door open to your head. It should open to your feet. Or did I get that wrong?
Neither.
Great. Okay. Bye.
If it's a door, your bed should be facing not towards it or away. Your head shouldn't be in an angle of it.
That way the Slender Man can't get you.
I mean, kind of a lot of it is about predators, being aware of some type of predator and being prepared for that.
Oh,
so I think I saw this online, and I hope it's not too reductive, but they're saying feng shui is think of it as if bats are flying into your house and then trying to figure out a way to get out of your house, and you're asleep. You don't want to be in the path of the bats.
Wow. Okay. Let me think about that. So is Batman great at feng shui or terrible at feng shui?
He's got that stupid big penny. I bet the bats would really be into that.
Yeah. That's definitely there's a lot of chi in that penny.
So, Adam, like, as a guy who is really into feng shui, like, do grocery stores actually have feng shui? I mean, we know they have flow, but no, you're nodding your head. You're saying no.
Yeah, I mean, I tried to like find any positive practices to the way that, and I've done a lot of research about layout and why things are the way they are right now. But there's no feng shui principles that they're following to the point of they're actively breaking pretty much every rule you could imagine in pretty much every grocery store. So yeah,
I think flow, it was like, I immediately knew what you were asking of me thematically when you said flow. It was like, it's like porn. You know, I can't define it, but I know what it is when I see it.
But even then, there are some, and I guess this is going to be what we're going to get into, but there are some grocery stores that do feel inviting in how you are able to maneuver and how you can interact with the space around you. And some, like maybe the infamous Trader Joe's, do not feel that way. And it feels like you're constantly sort of fighting the way they are set up.
Yes. Yeah. Not that I've read any of his books, but I would say the Silver Lake Trader Joe's is Kafka-esque in its design.
You in there and you feel like you are a huge bug.
Yes. Yeah, just bats and human-sized bugs all over that Trader Joe's.
But so feng shui is perhaps not so applicable to like grocery stores, but there are hard and fast rules about like how a grocery store theoretically should be laid out. Like psychologists have studied this. Like not every grocery store conforms to these rules, and I've got some fun examples of grocery stores that do not conform to these rules. But like, Adam, I'm sure you discovered that there is like a very specific approach, like as to how you are being directed through a grocery store in America, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, I have a great place to start, and this kind of blew my mind.
Start it off.
So I was looking into a guy who pointed out that Americans go through grocery stores counterclockwise. Like that is the just inherent. We walk into a grocery store and it is like we immediately turn to the right and start kind of moving from the right of the store up and down and moving towards the left in a counterclockwise fashion. And they're saying that people in the UK do the exact opposite. They move clockwise. They're starting at 6 and moving up past noon. And he was equating it to like the side of the road that we drive on. He's like, when you go into a grocery store, you are used to being in a car and you are used to moving in a particular flow of traffic. And that's why you do it. I mean, think of it like a roundabout, like, California roundabout versus a London roundabout. Like that's just the way we inherently move. I mean, and it's curious because like I think you could really track the rise of the supermarket to like the rise of the automobiles. So there probably isn't like a lot of research to dispel that like predates, supermarket or automobile or, roadway or whatever.
Right. Yeah. He found the perfect theory because no one could test it. But it does make a certain kind of sense because you're pushing a cart. It's got 4 wheels. It feels car-ish. So maybe you feel like you should treat it like a car and thus do it that way. But anecdotally, I don't think I follow that very much.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was going to say is that I read a lot about this and they were always talking about they call it right-hand single flow traffic. And they were saying like the grocery stores need to be set up so that the important items like follow your path starting on the right. But then I was thinking about almost every grocery store you like to go to. I usually start at the left and go around clockwise. So Jef, I don't know about your experience with that.
I mean, when I saw this thing about how Americans want to veer to the right, it really spoke to me. There are some grocery stores where I kind of will maybe go to the left, depending on if I'm doing a big shop. I generally feel like the grocery stores that I think of that I remember, like I'm immediately turning right and like veering right with the cart or the basket and starting in that direction. You know, we're talking about flow, and I know we kind of dispelled the feng shui thing, but I really was like, it was very meditative for me. I'm trying to get into meditation a little bit more. And I'm like, let me imagine my ideal grocery store shopping experience. I'm walking in and what am I seeing and which direction am I going? And like, how do I move through the place? And I'm like, just having that, like, that vision feels very calming and peaceful to me. So, but I'm surprised to hear that y'all aren't doing the right turn. So,
Well, I think I'm my local Gelson's. I think I'm always hitting produce first, and their produce starts on the left, and then you work your way to the right towards the other stuff. But it does also matter which door I'm going through, because the Gelson's has 2 doors. Now, the Trader Joe's only has 1 door, and I think that's one of its major flow problems, is that there's only one way in or out.
and that infamous Silver Lake Trader Joe's, they force you to go left. You
have to go left. You have no choice, because right in front of you is the checkout aisles. Awful, awful, horrible.
Adam, which grocery stores are you going to where you're immediately like turning right?
Both the Ralphs that I go to regularly and the Sprouts that I go to regularly, I turn right, because that's where the produce pretty much is. Actually, no, I mean, it just feels like that's how they're set up, really. And then the only one that I go left is, or I'm sorry, I go left for those. The only one that I go right is Trader Joe's. It's kind of reverse of what you just said, because the Trader Joe's near me is set up to go right. So
they're not following any rules.
Yeah.
They're just like, how should we make this one? Who cares? They're worms. They're worms. Begging for our JoJo.
So I found this research paper, Jef. I don't know if you found it.
I've seen a few. There's a lot of research about how people shop. It's like so many doctorate level theses about, we gotta study the psychology of the grocery shop. But yes, I've seen a lot of them.
Wow.
Yeah. So this one was interesting to me. It's called Supermarket Guidelines, Store Design and Layout, 1973, and it's conducted with a cooperation between the U.S. Department of Agriculture and the University of Missouri. So it's the feds writing this thing, but they're talking all about right-hand single flow traffic. They're obsessed with it. But then they have these like statistics where they're basically saying, like, for these, like, we analyzed 100 supermarkets, and we said like how much money they made based on this decision and that decision, and a lot of their conclusions were like, there's a negligible difference or there's a minor difference. It's like really the margins are pretty low between this setup versus this setup. So
our tax dollars at work.
Yeah.
But why is it? Just because the grocery store is such a vital part of the American like experience that there's all these studies about it? Or is it just like, I got to come up with a thesis real quick? It's Sprouts.
I mean, I think, and again, I haven't, this is my speculation. Like, I know we were talking about having read a lot of these theses and doctorate papers and stuff like that. But my guess is like, it's a uniquely like 20th century invention, and it's like it just like so quickly became an inherent part of like society, and like there are so many rules about it, and there's so many like customs about it, and it's just like it seems like maybe a relatively new field of psychology to study. I mean, it's sociology, it's psychology, it's like how do people interact with each other, how are people shopping and making decisions for themselves. Like I think that kind of flow through the place is like a really good anchor point to start talking a lot about society. It's a microcosm of society, perhaps.
I agree wholeheartedly, because when I go to a grocery store I like, whether it be a Gelson's or a Vallarta supermarket, I went to a Northgate recently on the west side. Great Latin supermarket. Can't speak highly enough about the Northgate. It really feels like, everything's working. It feels like people are there to do their business, and there's no animosity between you and the person next to you. If someone's at the freezer aisle a little too long while you're waiting for your waiting to get in there, it's like, well, that's okay because I look to my left and here's something I need. It's the bread. They put the bread next to the freezer. That's great. I need both of those things more often than not. I appreciate that. Meanwhile, at the Trader Joe's, it's like Lord of the Flies. I'm sorry to talk so disparagingly about it, but I feel like everything is designed to squeeze people into choke points and make people upset with each other. Like, you go, they have a single entrance and you can't go straight. You have to go left into the produce. The produce is too small, too tight for two grocery carts to get by each other. So you're already angry at each other, and it just gets worse from there.
So this is not about Trader Joe's specifically, but Kevin Kelly, principal and co-founder of Shook Kelly, a design firm, says, quote, traditional aisles are designed like freeways. Our goal is to slow shoppers down. We are trying to create points of interruption throughout the store. So this is by design.
And really interestingly, like, just digging into layout plans for grocery stores, there are so many like consulting companies that they want to get their fingers into your grocery store and they want to tell you how to do it just a little bit better. Just let us show you how you can just tweak things. And they have got their algorithms that tell you, if you just move things 1 inch this way, you'll make, an extra $5 an hour from this, particular aisle. Like, it's very interesting, like, how precise people are getting with like the specifics of how you lay out that grocery store. People want to get in there and consult on that. And
like, I mean, this is probably like the most basic of concepts, but what do they call those things at the ends of the aisle where they stack up
end cap?
An end cap. I mean, makes total sense. Yeah, like, you want something there to entice people, and you're spending a little extra time turning a corner, and you get the chance to see, what's this? Tostitos with lime.
Mm-hmm. They specifically want like high fat, high sugar type impulse purchases to be on a corner way, because then you have basically two avenues of interacting with it because you're turning around it, and then you will be theoretically more likely to grab it.
Oh my God, that makes so much sense now. My mind is exploding.
Well, so Adam, I'm sure you've got a lot on this, and I think we should kind of give the basic premises of like grocery store layout. Like, so we can tag team it a little bit, but if it's a store that does sell plants and flowers, they want plants and flowers first thing when you walk in, right?
Wow. And why is that?
It's fresh. You're seeing like living things. Like, even if, they do want to put produce pretty close to the entrance a lot of the times, but like, if you see a flower that is alive, that is like, has been watered, and you can take home and keep watering that yourself, you're like walking in and like seeing a living thing. And it's like, it's beautiful and it smells good. It's like, that's the way that they're inviting you into the space. And then I mean, what are you seeing next? It's not always the same with
it's usually produce. It's usually produce, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of the dead version of that first thing that you saw.
Mm-hmm.
I always assumed that the fresh stuff was on the side or towards the entrance because that was closer to like the back of the grocery store where the refrigeration is, and it was like easy to cart it out. But it's more just to entice you to be like, I'm going to a place with living things.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there are considerations for like, certainly like refrigerated sections have to be plugged in. And so like, aside from freezer sections being more in the middle of the store, like, you're going to have that refrigerated section against the wall. You're going to have your dairy and your meat, because like, you're not doing so much wiring through the middle of the store. And like, a lot of the grocery stores have that plumbing where they spray the water onto the vegetables, which you don't want to run plumbing all the way to the middle of the damn store. but they are trying to kind of direct you to the produce.
By the way, I don't know if this is already a future episode, so I don't want to step on any toes, but no greater feeling than being there for when the mist starts if they have also the thunderstorm soundtrack playing. It really is like one of the great joys of life.
I fucking hate it. I'm going to be...
oh my God, what?
I don't want to pick up a wet romaine lettuce. I don't want my stuff to be dry. I want it to have like already been watered 10 minutes before I get there.
Well, you enjoy the show, and then you go and you do the rest.
It's not the Bellagio fountain, Scott.
For me, it is.
Yeah, I like it.
I pulled off a heist with 10 of my friends. we would end things at the produce aisle.
Pick up some wet corn.
Yeah, I like it. It's a fun show. I mean, they're not. Look, sometimes they are really wet, and that's annoying, and it gets all over you. You're not wrong. But whatever. Sometimes you don't get to see the show and you get a wet lettuce. Then you're worst of both worlds.
Yeah, it just happened. Can I ask, not to push the conversation in a direction, but why is the frozen food in the middle?
I didn't find any real answers to that. Did you, Adam?
I think just in general, anything that is like relatively shelf stable or relatively like boxed by a major corporation goes in the middle. But I'm not sure why specifically. I mean, but everything. Yeah. I mean, that's just the kind of the rule.
Just like that, it's that much harder to stock a middle aisle, so you don't have to worry about swapping as many things out, like on your day to day.
Well, they make it's. I mean, as I'm saying this, and I didn't find anything about this, but they make more money. Their like profits are higher on that kind of like Kellogg's type, pre-made stuff. So it is weird that they're not directly directing you in that direction from a flow perspective, but they kind of know you're going to wind up there anyway.
Yeah.
And total speculation, but I was at the grocery store today, as I am every day. And the store I was at, you're more likely to see people working there in the produce section. They're like swapping out old produce, putting in new produce. And if it's closer to the sides, you're more out of the way. You're probably closer to the entrance and exit points from like the back of the store. So it's probably just like a little bit easier of a workflow, I would guess.
Right.
And you're not restocking the freezer section as much as you're stocking fresh stuff.
That's true. Yeah.
So Adam, how are they getting you? Once you're in there for the produce, then where are they moving you to?
Well, then it's usually, one of the refrigerated like milk or cheese or yogurt or something like that, usually.
Mm-hmm.
And then it goes to the meat in the back. And then it's usually the bakery on the other side. And then it's often pre-made kind of deli stuff near the bakery. And then sometimes booze is also then at the very end, but sometimes booze is in the middle.
Some of these stores have the booze. Even when it's in the middle, it's still closer to like, I want to call it 10 o'clock, I guess. If we're talking counterclockwise, it's not going to be in the, on the between the 12 and the 6. It's going to be on. It's not going to be by the 3. It's going to be by the 9, I guess. If you're going counterclockwise.
That makes sense.
Even when it's in the middle. And I'll be honest with you, the only time I'm really breaking that counterclockwise flow is when I'm going straight to the booze. And I'm like, I'm just stocking up on a 12er of beer and some whiskey or some tequila. Then that's really the only time I'm breaking my flow. So.
It's been a hard day. I'm going clockwise. That's what they say down at the mill. If you go clockwise, you've had you're tying one on.
So, Jef, let me ask you a specific question. When you go to grocery outlet, they try to direct you into this one little section where like a whole bunch of stuff is stocked up with big pallets and like new sales and stuff like that. Okay. Do you like that section?
So, oh boy, I did make a note to maybe talk about how frustrated I am with my local grocery outlet. Mm-hmm. And again, I hope that this is relatable to anybody listening, but if you ever go to the Yucca Valley grocery outlet, they, and I got to be very careful. I don't know if I've said this on the podcast, but I am like officially a spokesperson for a grocery outlet in our community.
Okay.
Yeah, I do a special segment on the radio show where I give my endorsement and I recommend a bargain of the week. And I do need to do that tomorrow. I was at grocery outlet today, so I got to be very careful. But they have created a little, they call it the Nosh zone in grocery outlet, which is like, it's snacks, it's like some interesting remaindered stuff, but it's like kind of the most variable section of the store. And they really blocked it so that the only way you can get into the store without going to the left and going into the booze, which I do all the time, and I'm proud to say it. I'm drinking a hard kombucha that I got at the left. I turned left and went to the hard kombucha section, but it's really unpleasant. They have like really decimated the flow of this grocery outlet to, I think it's to direct people from like not walking right past the counter, like the where you the checkout stand, but it's just a very unusual flow. And I know you're asking me about this because I think you feel the same way, Adam, that
Yeah, I don't like it at all. And even when there's like cereal that I would want that's like super reasonable price, I just like want to get out of that zone as quickly as possible. Usually.
Have you tried scratching off the end to see if there's an M underneath it and that it's actually a mosh zone? And they want to get a bunch of people in there for some hardcore moshing.
yeah, I mosh there with my dried seaweed snacks and my grass-fed tri-tip and my coconut water. So we all get together and mosh.
That seems like such an odd thing. Like they came up with like a snack like area to sell off like their excess, like their surplus, like novelties and stuff like that.
It's novelties, but it's also like where they have like the better meat. It's where they have the fresh fish and the grass-fed beef, and they have a different meat section that's kind of like, you know, it's not worse meat, but it's different meat. I find myself going into this little front section, and it's the like bottom right hand portion of the store. You have to like wiggle through it to get to the rest of the store, which is laid out much more like a traditional grocery store.
That's so weird.
It's
I
quite odd.
I wouldn't go to a section if it was labeled different meat. It's so weird that they have I don't think when I think of noshing, I don't think of high quality like raw meats and fish.
You know, it stands for something. It stands for natural, organic snacks and health food, I think.
Oh wow, okay. This is
So
this is above my pay grade. I don't know who they hired for this, but that's Greek to me.
just getting into flow and stuff, I want to ask y'all about what is your general movement like, aside from where the store is directing you, whether that's like counterclockwise or whatever. Are you like, and I know that Adam, you're doing big shops, and Scott, you're doing small shops, but are y'all skipping a lot of aisles, or are you like doing aisles quickly? Like what is your personal flow through the store?
That is a great question. Thank you for asking it. It's funny that you talked about using like your walk around a grocery store as a meditative practice, because even thinking about it, like I feel at peace when I go into the grocery store. I start in the produce section. I get the veggies I need for my dinner and any interesting fruits, stuff that looks fresh. And then the wine is on the to my right. And I am a white wine mom nowadays. I enjoy my whites, so I'll grab a bottle of white if I need it. Then behind that is the dairy section. Then I make a right, and there's the soda aisles, and where I'll get my carbonated waters. And then oddly, they have a non-grain snack section next to the sodas. So it's like if I want my nuts or my pork rinds, I'll grab those. And then I move on to cheese. And then if I need toilet paper, the toilet paper aisle is near the cheeses and stuff like that.
That seems counterintuitive, but
well, not if you have IBS. It's actually perfectly positioned. Then it kind of goes to grain snacks if I need a potato chip, and then the frozen, then savory frozen, sweet frozen. Then you're going on to meats and like, the Asian section. pastas, sauces.
So will you regularly snake up and down all the aisles? Is that pretty much what you're getting
Yeah,
at?
yeah. I'd say I'm usually doing a snake. Even if I kind of know what I'm there for, I will go down the occasional aisle just for the hell of it to remind myself if I need anything or if I'm like feeling, saucy.
When you're feeling saucy, you do go down the sauce aisle, of course.
Yes, yeah. It's called the sauce section, but it stands for something. So amazing, unctuous creams. Exciting.
Adam, what's your flow? What's your personal flow through the store?
So, first of all, I need to tap into this like meditative, relaxed zone because that's not my zone at all. And I like the idea of having a pleasant, slow afternoon at the grocery store. But no, I am in there. I'm trying to hit what I need to go as fast as humanly possible without running over someone else in the aisle. So yeah, I just go to I pretty much go around the border, and then when I need to venture into the middle, I do. But I will very often just like leave my cart in a non-particularly populated aisle. But I will leave my cart, and then I'll just go like boom, boom, boom. Get some vinegar, get some potato chips, and then be back to the cart in like literally 25 seconds. Yeah. So yeah, I generally go around the border unless I need to venture into the middle.
You like dart in and back out again.
Pretty much, yeah.
I get it. That's a good pincer movement.
I'm kind of the same way where like I stay to the outskirts and I only dart into the aisles that I need to go to. I mean, there are aisles of my grocery stores that I like I've never ventured into. They are like once in a while, like I had to get Pop-Tarts recently, and hold on, let me rephrase that. Nobody needs to buy Pop-Tarts. I wanted Pop-Tarts, and I was like, had a special purpose for Pop-Tarts, so I'm like, I guess I'm going down this aisle for the first time in a while, and like, it was a whole new experience for me. I guess I was feeling, as Scott might say, a little saucy. Although Pop-Tarts are more goo than sauce, really, but...
Yeah, if you got a saucy Pop-Tart, you should call Kellogg's. Who
I just
Pop-Tarts? Like, let's call Jerry Seinfeld and ask. He knows.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm really like, and I'm really chaotic when I shop. So like, I'll be on one end of the store and be like, oh, I totally forgot to get rice, and I'll go all the way back to the other end of the store, and I got no problems just going back and forth, and
Yeah.
Judging the other thing, judging by the flow, and like, this is a little superstitious of me. This is my shopping superstition. But like when I walk into the grocery store and I see that the line is like really, really long at the counter, I'm like, I can take my time because lines change. The line will never, you walk in and there's no line, you'd be like, I got to hurry my ass up because this line's going to get real long. And if the line's super long when I walk in, I'm like, it's going to be short by the time I'm done. They're going to figure this out. They're going to handle it. Like, everything is going to shift and change while I'm in here. So that like will impact like how quickly I'm moving through the space as well.
Talk about a mantra. Lines change. I love that.
Yeah, except it should be for like just sort of peace and accepting of whatever happens it is. But Jef is actually using it to reverse engineer.
Yeah. Isn't that what meditation is about? Gaming the system.
Yeah, I think so. That's what I'm really working on. Gaming karma.
Yeah, that's what David Lynch was talking about, right? Make all the money you can while you can.
Adam, is there anything that you wanted to hit? I know we're bumping up on time a little bit. Bedtime is coming.
Oh, so.
Yeah. So the one thing I want to talk about is and I feel like, and maybe this is, old man yelling at clouds. I feel like this is a more recent practice, but the increasing, they have different names for them, but they sometimes call them carousels, but the increasing sort of circled end caps or square end caps in the middle of where you would normally be pushing your cart as in a slow aisle sort of thing. So they start putting these things to block your way and to take up more room and to make you have to go around the other person in a little more of an awkward way. I hate that. I can't stand it.
They paid a consultant $500,000 to put that end cap there, that little circular barrier for you.
Yeah.
Full of Chip Ahoy or whatever.
Right. So at Kroger or Ralph's, the back aisle is all the yogurt and milk and stuff like that. But they have these, they'll have Doritos, and then they'll have Bud Light, and it'll basically mean that there's only one direction either way. So if anything happens, it's just immediate log jam with all the carts and stuff like that. It drives me up the wall.
You think you know better than Ricky at Brand Realizations LLC?
Well, he wants to slow us down, because if you slow down and you're frustrated, then maybe you look to the side and you see, oh, they have pickle chips, and you buy the pickle chips.
Yeah. It is nefarious, and I too, that stresses me out. I don't like. There's nothing I hate more than doing the little dance of oh no, you go, you and one of those choke points.
Yeah.
What do y'all think the biggest choke points in the grocery store are? I was going to say bottlenecks, but I don't want everybody to go reach for their bottle of white wine.
My mouth is watering now. You said the magic word. That is a good question. Well, at Trader Joe's, it is undoubtedly the meat section, which is up until recently blocked off by the bread section. It would everything would just culminate.
Punching sandwiches.
Yeah. Everyone needs their sandwiches. It would just come to this point where everyone eventually finds themselves debating over whether they want chicken thighs or, hanger steak for dinner. At a regular grocery store, I would say the choke point is probably anything you need to talk to somebody about. Deli meats, butcher, things can get pretty packed around there, I would say.
This is not fully a grocery store, but in Walmart, they have a term called Action Alley. And basically, they're very proud of this.
Okay, wow.
And Jef, it's at the Walmart near you. It is a extra wide aisle, but then with a very large carousel in the middle. So you go either way, but then there will be a whole bunch of different, end caps, square end caps, to catch your attention.
Is this kind of the meat freezer section where they have frozen shrimp and stuff?
No, it's actually the non-grocery store part that I'm really thinking of. So the home aisle where the pharmacy is, or or up at the top where the electronics section is going into the grocery store. It's just be big aisle with these big displays that you have to kind of go around. But the aisles are generally big enough that maybe two carts could pass through a single lane.
So if you pass the nosh zone and conquer the Action Alley, what kind of reward do you get at the end?
Hard kombucha.
Yeah. Or a bottle of white.
A bottle of white.
My big bottleneck in I always feel like I'm running into motherfuckers in the produce section. No matter where the produce section is, that's where I'm seeing people and getting into long conversations. I'll be honest with you, it's not the Westwood horny co-ed Ralph's, but I've met a bunch of people in the produce section at my store. Not only am I just bumping into people and having conversations, I don't know. I ran up to give a guy a hug just the last time I was at the grocery store in the produce section. But people are lingering over the mushrooms, even if you don't know them. And it's I'm waiting for a guy to move out of the way so that I can get my bag of mushrooms or grab a couple peppers or whatever. I'm constantly waiting for the bags to on the rollers to fill up my produce with. But for whatever, it's just wild in the produce section.
Good point. I think you might be right. I'm going to revise my answer because I think it is the produce section. I think a lot of it probably has to do with you have to test when you're in the produce section. You have to squeeze and smell, and you have to consider like what you're gonna get. You can just grab a bag of Doritos. That's why they're better than fruits and vegetables.
You're not squeezing your Doritos? You gotta make sure they're all in there. You give them a go.
You got to make sure it's got a sunspot on the bag.
Also, the produce aisle is kind of the only thing in the supermarket that's laid out like a spider web or something like that.
Yeah.
So you might have to go get mushrooms, and then you come back and you get spinach, and you're kind of going all around.
You leave the cart in a place and are like your satellite operation. You're like,
Yes.
You're spacewalking into the produce section. You got your little tether to your grocery cart.
Do you ever picture yourself as Sandra Bullock in Gravity, Adam, when you're doing your grocery shopping? It might make it more fun.
That would only increase the stress, I think. I don't know if that would chill me out.
I thought that was the laugh riot of the summer. What are you talking about?
So we've talked at length about the flow of the grocery store and like what we like about it, what we don't like about it. But what is the big problem with the flow of the grocery store? It is when they rearrange everything, which they do all the damn time. Have y'all experienced the rearranging of the grocery store?
Yes. Yeah. It is upsetting.
And again, we're talking about it as meditation, but like you have this way that you do it, and then you go in and it's like everything is completely different and turned around, and like you just want to shut down.
Yeah. Yes.
It's surprisingly disturbing when like the bean aisle is completely in the opposite place than you expected. Yeah.
It's like daddy is not living with mommy anymore. Yeah, it can get that bad. The one thing I'll say, I briefly touched on this, is that the evil, horrible, Kafka-esque Silver Lake Trader Joe's recently moved their bread section away from the meat section and opened it up. And it did feel like a revelation. It was a good thing. It was like, oh, there's so much more room here. Like I could start a family here. But sometimes it's a good thing.
I don't think I've ever experienced it as a good thing. Like, I mean, we were talking about our local grocery outlet in Yucca Valley where they did this big shift and it just confused everybody for 6 months. And I think people are still a little confused by it, but it's like, it's distressing. It's upsetting. And I mean, we know why they do it. The psychology is in there. The, $500,000 a day consultants will tell you why it's important to rearrange stuff. Once you start getting lost in the store again, then you start noticing other products, and you have to get your bearings again, and then you shift your habits and you spend more time. It's the same thing as putting the round end cap in the middle of the aisle. It's like a barrier, and the longer you linger, the more like impulse purchases you're going to make, right?
Yeah. Do they have like a time frame? Is there like a best practice as to like when you rearrange one aisle for another, or is this again this is behind lock and key? We don't have the clearance for this information.
I mean, they definitely have a lot of like people of quants trying to figure this stuff out and trying to convince them that they cracked the code. So that's probably really what it is somebody made a good enough pitch. And like one of the papers I found had this complex mathematical equation that they figured out about the shortest route and the most time spent around the key aisles and stuff like that. So I'm sure that's what it is.
The big change at Gelson's right now is that they've started doing those big soda box displays where they look like something. They stack a bunch of Crushes next to a bunch of Pepsis, and you can see like a football helmet or something like that. They started doing that, and then on top they have these giant Japanese penguin plushies that I don't think are related to Gelson's in any way, but they're all over the store like it's a mascot.
I don't know what Labubu is, and by the time this episode comes out, nobody will either. But is it Labubu?
It is not Labubu. Can we confirm that? It is not Labubu. Okay. But it could be the next big thing. I think it's called Pingu. It's not Pingu, but something.
When was the last time y'all got really tripped out by a rearrange? Because like I obviously the grocery outlet in Yucca Valley has been fucking my shit up a little bit, but like that was 6 months to a year ago, honestly. Like, and I'm still not used to it, and one day I will, and then they'll change it again, and I'll be all pouty once again. But like, how are y'all holding up with the status of your shops?
Gelson's hasn't really done a major rehaul since the bar was installed. the bar was pretty jarring. It moved some things around and made some stuff smaller.
So jarring it can drive a man to drink.
Yeah, maybe that was the point. maybe it was all a plan to get people to that hard kombucha. But since then, they've been pretty good about keeping things where they should be. They do add a lot of those end caps. I feel like there's a new one there every week.
I think that's the end cap is supposed to be like impulse, like it's your new Selena Gomez Oreo. I mean, I bought shit off in an end cap just today, and I even made a note of it. They had the big bulk dishwashing cubes that I like to buy. Shout out to Cascade Platinum. They had a whole end cap of Cascade Platinum, and I'm like, damn, I gotta buy this. I need this. My dishes got to get clean. So.
Back to Gelson's. The penguin's name is Donko, and he's from Tokyo, Japan's iconic Don Quixote stores, and it seems to be a Southern California. I mean, maybe Gelson's is Southern California, but there are exclusive penguins in specific Gelson's that people are collecting.
Oh wow! So, well, Don Quixote is like half of my Instagram is just people going to Don Quixote. They have got a great jingle.
Is Don Quixote a store?
Yeah, it's a store. It's like from what I can gather, it's kind of like a Daiso, like a go there for everything kind of place. Mm. You know, it's like, oh, don't go to Don Quixote, you'll end up spending $200. But I'm flabbergasted that the Don Quixote mascot has found its way to Gelson's. I wonder if they're like sister stores or something.
Don Quixote is always trying to, tilt at that windmill, but the supermarket management is like slightly moving the windmill to a different place, and he's like really disoriented. He's like, the windmill used to be here. Where's the windmill?
He just needs to keep telling himself that lines change.
All right. Breaking news. 2021, Gelson was acquired by Don Quixote's, the same company that owns Don Quixote, Global Pan-Pacific International Holdings. So,
my God. Wow. I'm actually, this is like a shock to me. Wow. Okay.
And I do like that our breaking news is from 2021.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's going to do it for this episode of Clean Up on Aisle podcast. Scott, it's been wonderful to have you. Where can people find you? You're a writer, you're a cartoonist, lovely man in general, but if people want more of you, where can they track you down?
I actually have stuff to hawk this time. I'm going to be at SPX in Bethesda, Maryland. It's the Small Press Expo, the weekend of September 13th, the 13th and 14th. I have a zine called Brand Masters, which is kind of a send-up of branding and advertising that I see around Los Angeles. I have a third book debuting at SPX, and after that it'll be at local comic book shops around Los Angeles. And anywhere else I could get them if I get off my duff. Other than that, I am occasionally a writer for the New York Times for Kids section. That comes out at the end of the month on Sundays.
They're very fun. We get those. I love to see you in the New York Times, and I love to read you in the New York Times. So,
oh, thank you.
Yes.
They're a blast to do. And other than that, if anybody in Hollywood has any kind of job, please hire me. Please, please, please.
Very funny, man. Very great writer. One of the easiest comedy writer minds that I've ever interacted with or worked with.
Oh, my God. Wow.
Jeez, absolutely. Scott. Yeah.
I had a great time. This is a great podcast. I can't wait to become your bug main.
Well, you just ruined your secret identity. So
Scuttle. Maybe I'm not Scott at all. Who knows?
All right. We will let you do bedtime. Thank you for bearing with us on the scheduling stuff, and wonderful to talk grocery stores with you, Scott.
Yeah. Great time.
All right. Say what's up to the fam.
I will.